When it's done right, a plot twist can completely flip our entire perspective of a film. It can do anything from turning our heroes into villains to revealing that everything we've known up until that point in the film has been a complete lie. They play over our expectations and have made some of cinema's most iconic moments. But plot twists can be tough to pull off. Sometimes a twist can be so bad that it completely overshadows anything else that has happened in the film and ruins a film's reputation in a way it can't recover from. Obviously, since I'm talking about the endings of these movies, spoilers ahead. Now, without any further delay, here are the 5 worst movie plot twists. Number 5. Danny Boyle's Sunshine. This film is set around a group of scientists trying to save the dying sun after a previous ship has already failed. They eventually come across this previous ship and discover that the original crew's mission failed because its captain went crazy and killed the entire crew. And in the third act twist, it turns out that the captain is still alive, and he starts killing off the crew of the second ship. It's a really misguided twist because up until this point in the film, it was fantastic. It was thematically strong and worked in a similar way to Boyle and Garland's previous film, 28 Days Later, by being loyal to its sci-fi roots while still living on an experience unlike any other space adventure that had come before it. But then we get gut punched by this weak twist, and the film changes from an epic space adventure to a nicely shot version of Jason X in space. The twist also ruins the entire film's aesthetic by focusing less on the psychology of these interesting characters and instead focusing on some evil burnt face man. It's actually a testament to how good the rest of the film is, that in spite of this god-awful third act twist, the film still ends up being a great movie, with the first 2 acts being something genuinely special, remaining one of the most ambitious and powerful films in the sci-fi genre. It's just a shame that this plot twist made the film fall short of what this ambitious epic could have otherwise achieved. Number 4. Frank Darabont's The Mist. At the end of The Mist, then the few survivors that we have been following throughout the film end up stranded in a car that's out of gas. Believing it's the end, their leader Thomas Jane kills everyone inside the car, including his own son, to stop them from having to die at the clutches of the monsters in the mist. However, he no longer has enough bullets for himself, so he goes outside to face the monsters on his own. But then, when Jane steps outside, it turns out the military is right behind them, and if they hadn't given up so easily, then they all could have survived. Unlike King's original more open ending, this one just tries to go for pure shock value, which could be okay since that would be fitting for the B-movie style that Darabont was going for here. But what really makes this twist fail is terrible execution, as the decision to kill everyone inside the car lacks any clear logic. Firstly, I get at this point they have seemingly given up all hope of surviving, but would they really just leap to shooting themselves in the head instead of at least trying to look for shelter nearby first? I mean, Jane must have realized that he would get killed by these monsters anyway, so why not go outside and look around for shelter for a while before killing everyone else in the car? Second, the entire military pulls up behind them about a minute after the father shoots everyone. How the hell did they not hear the entire army coming up behind them? And even accepting all these other plot holes and accepting the fact that they did need to kill themselves, why not just use 1 bullet to kill 2 people inside the car? It's brutal, but if you're certain you're gonna die anyway, then surely that is the better option. The only reason they didn't do any of these things is because they wanted the film to end on a shocking note, and that's why it sucks. It's such a forced situation, thus completely ruining any drama that the film was attempting to achieve. Number 3. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. When you're making a remake of a film that has one of the greatest plot twists of all time, it's a tough question about how you can actually top it. The answer is, you don't. You can't top a plot twist like the original Planet of the Apes. You shouldn't even attempt to. But still, Burton tried, and it ended up making audiences across the world gaze at the screen in confusion. At the end of Planet of the Apes, Wahlberg lands, and it looks like he's home. But then we get Abraham Lincoln, and the world is almost identical to ours, but instead of humans, it's run by apes. The biggest problem with this ending is, it was just so bizarre. From what I understand, after Wahlberg left to return to the storm, Ross Evil General Ape was supposed to follow in another pod and be able to go back further in time than Wahlberg to be able to take over the planet Earth. But honestly, the movie never really explains it. We don't know what Tim Roth's ape did, just whatever he did somehow allowed him to become the Lincoln Memorial. Plus, it just comes completely out of nowhere. Unlike a good twist like the original Planet of the Apes where they had a lot of build-up and hints that he was on Earth the entire time, here, we're never actually given any reason to believe that this could be a possibility, and it ends up appearing more like a desperate attempt to live up to the twist of the original movie. There's not really much else to say other than it's a really goofy twist that makes an otherwise generic and mostly forgettable movie into one of the biggest cinematic blunders of Burton's career. Number 2. Alan Coulter's Remember Me. I hate this movie. Without the plot twist, the film is just boring, following a dull love story and revolving around several uninteresting characters. but the ending to this film escalates it to a very disgraceful movie. Towards the end of the film, it ends up making Patterson's character become one of the victims in the Twin Towers during 9/11. And that's a twist. The twist doesn't add any conclusion or understanding to the story, and it doesn't make any profound statement either. All it is an attempt to add shock value in an extremely disrespectful way. I guess you could try to make the argument that maybe the film's attempting to show how 9/11 affected the lives of so many individuals. But if this is what they set out to do, then they should have actually focused more on the fallout of the tragedy. Actually show how all of the characters in the film continue their lives after losing him, instead of just showing their actions in a quick 2-minute montage at the end of the film. Instead, this film just comes off as an attempt to make a very uninteresting movie stand out by exploiting tragedy, to emotionally manipulate its audience. But instead of making its film stand out, the twist just transformed the film into one of the most distasteful movies set around tragedy, and is a movie I advise everyone to avoid. And the number one worst movie plot twist, M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. Yeah, you must have known this name would come up at some point. M. Night Shyamalan, a name so synonymous with bad twists he even became one of Robot Chicken's best punchlines.
What a twist!
Yeah, what a twist.
But to give him credit, his twists weren't always bad. Sixth Sense to this day remains one of the most iconic twists of all time, and A Twist in Unbreakable works extremely well on a thematic level. But then it all started to go downhill with Shyamalan when he did Signs, and created one of the dumbest twists ever put to film. The film follows a family as they hold off against mysterious extraterrestrial beings who appear to be invading the Earth. After one of these CGI monstrosities breaks into their home, the family seems like they're in trouble. Until Mel Gibson realized that his wife's final words, to swing away, were God's way of telling him to tell his brother to hit the alien with a baseball bat. There are so many things wrong with this. Firstly, these are the weakest alien invaders ever. Phoenix is able to fight one off single-handedly, so they were clearly never that big a threat to the human race. Second, if God really wanted to send a message, then why did he have to kill his wife? That sounds more like the way the devil would have sent a message. And finally, did they really have to be told to use the baseball bat against the alien? Honestly, I thought it would be pretty obvious. If someone or something breaks into your home, then use a weapon. Then, because Phoenix uses his bat, they discover the creature's weakness: water. Really? These aliens travel all this way across the galaxy and can be defeated by water. I'm assuming that Shyamalan was trying to go for something similar to War of the Worlds, where the bacteria are the downfall of the Martians. But it worked there because the Martians had no concept of what bacteria was, and never would have even thought of looking for them. Water, on the other hand, covers most of the Earth. Did these creatures never notice the fact that this planet was covered in one of their greatest weaknesses when they were scouting the planet before they decided to invade? These extraterrestrials are as dumb as the ones from Plan 9 from outer space.
You're stupid minds! Stupid! Stupid!
At any rate, it's by far the dumbest twist to any movie. Though at least it was able to help turn Signs into one of the most unintentionally hilarious movies ever produced.